I have no idea what that was all about, but both of them involved our visitors.
You saw extraterrestrials there at the site?
Absolutely. Do not use the term UFOs, do not use the term extraterrestrial. We would refer to the UFOs that we were seeing as enemy helicopters or unidentified aircraft. Why were we doing all that? Well, it's real simple. If you got killed, they could not tie it to the US government. I wasn't thinking about having anything to do with trying to communicate with our visitors or anything like that, because at that time, I did not know this had anything to do with UFOs.
Today on Cosmic Disclosure, we have Sergeant Clifford Stone. Today he's going to be taking us to Southeast Asia to tell us his experiences with extraterrestrials and their craft. Sergeant Stone, welcome to the show again.
Thank you, sir. It's my great privilege to be here.
Sarge, you were in some crash retrievals in Southeast Asia. What can you tell me about that?
Well, actually, we were involved with recovering a B-52 there in Cambodia, only we didn't know it at the time. And what really went on at Dui Ba Din, where we went into the mountain, I have no idea what that was all about, but both of them involved our visitors.
You saw extraterrestrials there at the site?
Absolutely. I was later learn that we did in fact have UFOs, which everyone was directed, do not use the term UFOs, do not use the term extraterrestrial. We would refer to the UFOs that we were seeing as enemy helicopters or unidentified aircraft. That was very hard for particularly the people who work the radar. Very simply put, on radar they have what's called an RCS, radar cross-section. And you can pretty much tell even what type of aircraft you're picking up. When you had these blimps or the RCSs that were showing up, they were totally unidentifiable as to what type of craft they might be.
Is that part of the cover-up for these people, is saying that the special craft was a helicopter, so no one asks any more questions?
Well, absolutely. It's the entire purpose behind that is to make it to where, oh, it was just a helicopter. Oh, it was just a plane that they couldn't, flying over. They just didn't know whether it was Army, Air Force, Vietnamese, or the Thai, that's all. I hadn't gone to Vietnam, I was still at Fort Lee, Virginia. They came in and said, okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a field training exercise in Florida. And it's going to be from using selected individuals from various units here at Fort Lee. So there was me and another person by the name of Ski. He was a air police at the time. He was with the MPs, but with our unit. So we were the only two from the 36 Civil Affairs. So we were selected and there were other people. No one really knew one another on the plane. So we took off and we were flying for quite a few hours, 6-7 hours, before we landed to refuel. Everyone knew this was way too long to go from Virginia to Florida. But that right there was just a cover story.
I know.
To get us to where we wouldn't ask any questions. But now when we landed to refuel, one of the soldiers that was sitting directly behind me looked out the window and says, if this is not Oakland Airport, I will kiss your hindsight. So with that, the one I always called the colonel, he pulled out the .45 and very loudly, very firmly, said, I will personally shoot the next SOB that opens his mouth and says any questions. At this time, you will close your windows and you won't say anything. Once we're airborne, I will go ahead and explain to you what mission we're really on. But
you are on a plane, sir, not knowing where you're going, being threatened.
Oh, absolutely, everyone was.
And close those windows and keep your pie hole shut.
Absolutely. And that was a very, very quiet aircraft that when it took off.
You could hear a pin drop.
Absolutely. Even with the engines running.
So I'm assuming no one opened their mouth for the rest of the flight.
Mm-mm.
And what happens when you landed?
Well, before we landed, they went ahead and they gave us plastic bags. Then they gave us a razor blade, a single-edged razor blade. And Ski, he had a sense of humor. He went ahead and says, "You know what this is all about, don't you?" I says, "I haven't a clue." He says, "It's real simple. We're to take the single-edged razor blade, cut our throats, and bleed into the plastic bag." And I said, "Don't joke like that. You may be right." Anyhow, we went ahead, and then the colonel went ahead and said, "Okay, here's what we're doing. We're heading to a country that is not friendly to the United States government. We had a bomber go down, and we are going in to see if there are any survivors on that bomber. If they are, we are to go ahead and call in for helicopters to come pick up the survivors. Then we are to come on back to our staging area, be picked up by the helicopters that's going to take us to that staging area, and we'll be picked up by them, brought back to the air base that we landed at, get back on this plane, and we'll come back to the United States, and then you'll be debriefed." So, okay, so, but at this time, I need you to go ahead, take everything out of your pockets that might identify you as an American, wallets, everything, family pictures, everything has to come out. After you do that, I want you to go ahead, take the razor blade where you have U.S. Army or U.S. Air Force. We want you to go ahead, take that off. Your name on the other side, I want you to take that off. Your military patches, such as your unit patch, your combat patch, and we still had the rank at that time. And take the military ranks off, says you take all that off, put it in the bag, put your name on the bag, and they had a little sheet that you had that was affixed to the bag that you could write your name on. Said you're going to put it all in that, and we'll collect it, and it'll remain on this plane until you all get back here. Well, at that time, I didn't realize why we were doing all that. Well, it's real simple. If you got killed, they could not tie it to the U.S. government. So we went ahead and did that.
So who was on board, and what was it made out of? What team, and names you can maybe give us?
As far as the people on the plane, as always, you were not to know who the other people were. The intent was so you would never get together and make notes. You'd never get two people involved in the same situation to where they could go ahead and say, "This happened." The other guy could say, "I know it happened because I was there." And that is what makes it very difficult for people to come out and talk and have confirmation by other people coming out and saying, "Yes, I was there." On this mission, you know, even though you didn't know who the guy was sitting next to you, in my case I did because he was from my unit, and we sat down together. I'm quite sure if they saw that, they may have said, no, you guys split up. But no one hit us up on it. But Ski knew what his mission was. His mission was to go ahead and provide security, perimeter security around the craft once we got there. My job was to go ahead, use radiological equipment to carry the Prick 25, the field radio telephone, and was also to assist to check to see if any of the people on board the craft were still alive or injured. Then assist in rendering first aid as good as I could to any of the survivors. I wasn't thinking about having anything to do with trying to communicate with our visitors or anything like that, because at that time I did not know this had anything to do with UFOs. I should have guessed because the guy that I always called the colonel, he was one of us in charge. And I didn't even think about that. I don't know why I didn't think about that.
Through my experience, I would be thrown on a C-130 with 20, 30 people I'd never met in my life, and they make sure it's that way, of course, so
Absolutely.
nothing gets slipped up, but we all knew what we were supposed to do.
Oh yeah, and I knew what I was supposed to do.
And they would call us and say, "Hey, you got to be at the tarmac with the go bag in 15 minutes." So we would get there and go, and it'd be a group of people we did not know. But in your case, you knew a couple people that were there.
I knew one person. Of course, I knew who he was. But they went ahead, told us to get off the plane, go to the helicopters. We got to the helicopters. We flew for, I'm saying, an hour, maybe better. We went to a place where I now know was Parrots Peak in Cambodia. And when we got there, we had this little stream that was, I used to know the name of the river because it was a river. We set up a staging area. Now at the staging area, you're briefed on, okay, we're going to go over here. I'm going to show you where the site is. There, you're going to do A, B, C, D. So we all knew what our mission was. And, you know, it looked like there's a big hole damage to the B-52 up front. And it was as though it was a SAM-7, a surface-to-air missile, of Soviet origin that actually went into the aircraft and killed the people there. But not everyone died, because I firmly believe that they were trying to fly it back to their air base from which they came from, which would have been in Thailand. And everyone died as a result of their wounds before that was to happen, and the plane was about to crash. But for whatever reason, some other higher intelligence took over and had the plane as though some big giant hand picked it up and set it down on the jungle floor, because the plane was totally intact except for that one area where it appeared that the SAM went into it.
Was it a craft? Was it an ET that helped this craft?
I think it was our visitors that set the craft down, because they wanted to understand the dynamics of what happened there, of that little missile killing everybody on board that aircraft. While we were there where the B-52 was, after we accomplished what we were supposed to accomplish with it, I saw the B-52, and to me, I felt the B-52 should be much larger than what it was. For whatever reason, it looked smaller than what I felt it should have been. So I slung my M16 over my shoulder, and I'm going around looking at the craft. I go around to the tail section, looking at it, go around to the other side. When I get around to the other side, there in the shrubbery coming out of it are little gray entities, about 4 foot tall. As they came towards me, I'm looking at them and thought, what's going on here? But, you know, I didn't say anything. But till the day I die, I'll remember what the little entity said to me. And the way he said it, it was like, Clifford, what are you doing here? You are not supposed to be here. At that time, I got my M16, pulled it up. You normally don't carry your weapon on full automatic. I put it on full automatic and I started to fire, and I yelled out, VC, VC. No reason for us to believe that night. I have no idea why I was yelling that. And that was to alert the other troops that we were no longer alone, that there were a number of little guys there, I'll put it that way. Well, everyone else started to shoot, but our bullets was having no effect. And the one thing that I took away, and I think the rest of the world needs to think about, is that little, what, 1 or 2 sentences, that here we are, a species capable of such good, honorable things. How is it that we can be the same creature that can be capable of such horrific things that we do in war?
Clifford Stone, thank you, sir. Thanks for being on the show.
Once again, sir, it was my pleasure to be here.
It's always an honor to be with you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm Emery Smith. This is Cosmic Disclosure. Until next time.
If you enjoyed this, make sure to watch the next video on Awaken Zone. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, but you won't want to miss what's coming next.